that what kind of racketeering was Diddy allegedly up to? And Kid Cudi, I think if the prosecution can tie all of this together about his car blowing up and connecting it to Diddy, that's going to be, I think, maybe the most compelling argument so far.
Well, he is expected on the stand tomorrow. And yes, everyone has this allegation came out in the indictment. So for months, we knew about this, the reference that the allegation that Diddy ordered someone, not that he did it himself, but that he ordered someone to blow up Kid Cudi's car.
Because he was jealous that Kid Cudi was dating Cassie,
right.
and he was pissed off about it.
Right, and we've already heard a reference to Cudi from Cassie's mom, who said that while she knew that Diddy was upset that Cassie was dating Kid Cudi, and that's when he made that $20,000 demand from her. But this blowing up the car thing is obviously would be critical to the racketeers, that they don't, we hear this term racketeering, and I don't think the general public really knows what it means.
The concept of racketeering, not the Christy Nome definition, I'm sure, which is very different.
Wow, that was an unnecessary shot.
But I wanted to. But the typical racketeering, think of the mafia, where you have an organized crime group that goes out and has a drug element to it, a violence element to it.
The mafia is why the RICO charge was created by the
Then it's usually an organization that engages in a variety of criminal conduct, and that is its purpose. This is a very different case, usually not used against an individual, but used here, saying
But the allegation is that Diddy was using his company and employees of his to carry out illegal activities.
And and we're hearing a lot about, he used somebody on his staff to book a hotel room for 3 ways. I got to say, that's not why the racketeering statute was passed. But look, I don't want to get into the debate on whether it should be racketeering or not, because there is a Homeland Security guy who testified, and he's trying to show elements of what a mobster would use in an organized crime activity.
He testified about what they found at Diddy's home in Miami during the raid, and all the photos were displayed in court. But these are weapons, automatic weapons, assault rifles that were found, handguns, lots of drugs.
I'm wondering if some of the disconnect is that, Bad Boy is also a legitimate enterprise. It published music, it had artists. A lot of Bad Boy records was legitimate, but it seems as though
the mafia had legitimate front people too. They had dry cleaners and things like that. I mean, that's really the way they operate.
Waste management.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the way they operate.
They're a big company, and a lot of it is perfectly legal, but it seems as though he had some employees, personal assistants and the like, that he would pressure or coerce into doing illegal acts. Bringing guns to interact with Suge Knight at a Mel's Diner is not something you do at a normal record company.
It's like, show me. This is why Kid Cudi is so important. Yeah, he brought guns. And what the defense is going to say is he brought guns because he did want to confront Suge Knight, but at the same time, Suge Knight was a violent guy, and we wanted protection in case something happened. So they can explain that away. If they can connect the car bombing to
that's a car bombing out of jealousy.
Right.
I think you're explaining away a lot of what they're painting. They're painting a vast picture of a criminal enterprise, and yes, individual elements of this might be explained away, but the impression on the jury is going to be this guy had a cache of weapons, a cache of drugs.
Yeah, but
hold on,
the cache of drugs.
To do his bidding.
With the mafia, the cache of drugs is selling the drugs. With him, he's consuming the drugs. He's a consumer.
He's using the drugs, but he's also giving it to people who are involved in the freak-offs, and the allegation is that...
He's not selling it to them.
The allegation is that they were forced into doing
What I'm saying to you is these freak-offs, to call it organized crime, is a real stretch.
Well,
a real stretch.
Organized you need it to be, Harvey. If you need filing cabinets with specific criminal plans, this is a pretty organized enterprise.
You need that they are physically threatening people, that they are blowing up cars, that, they are extorting people.
About the blowing up the car, the alleged blowing up of the car. Well, we know the car definitely caught on fire. That part isn't in dispute.
But who did it?
Who did it? There could be a potential issue, and it came up this morning in court there could be an issue with Cudi's testimony. The defense is concerned about hearsay, that his testimony, I would imagine, I'm guessing that his testimony about the car blowing up and who did it is going to be hearsay because, you know, he would have heard it from
somebody else.
from Cassie,
And that's
who
hearsay.
heard it from someone else.
Which
This
is
is going
double
to be
hearsay.
a big issue. He's going to say, you know, Cassie told me that Diddy was threatening us, and if you're offering that to say it was truthful, that's hearsay. And it's classic hearsay. I'm not sure they'll be able to find an exception around that. If you're just looking to say, Sir Cudi, were you scared of Diddy? You can have that kind of testimony. People can be scared. That's not
Right,
hearsay.
but the scared is a subjective thing internally. What they need to show is the objective fact that Diddy allegedly ordered the blowing up of Cudi's car. And you need what we call percipient witnesses, witnesses who actually see or hear something that they can testify about. If it's heard it from a friend who heard it from a friend who...
All right, don't start singing. But so what he could testify to is, yes, after my car caught on fire, my insurance adjuster came and looked at it, and they found evidence of an explosion. He can testify about that stuff.
But they found evidence is hearsay. Even
from his insurance company?
Call the insurance adjuster to the stand. I mean, see, that's what hearsay is.
But even if they did that, that's still a step away from Diddy.
That's right.
Who's the one who's responsible for it.
Right.
So we don't know if the judge has made a ruling yet on this.
And we don't know
issue.
exactly what Cudi's going to say.
Right.
Hey, what's up? It's Brandon from Toronto. And in regards to Diddy's defense and Kid Cudi's testimony, I don't think it's hearsay because honestly, Kid Cudi has a very strong relationship with Diddy and Cassie. And if the reports are true that his car did get blown up over jealousy, then it links to the extortion, it links to the threats about Diddy, and it shows that Diddy has a power complex. It shows the fact that he is capable of doing all of these threats and running a whole enterprise and it charges with racketeering. So
yeah. Well, we'll see if they can connect all that.
Did you know that in law books they use ELO to explain hearsay? Did you know that? We're gonna move on.
That's not ELO. That's REO Speedwagon.
Oh, damn, you're right.
Wow.
You're right.
Got him. Yes. Let's move on to
I'm so mad at myself.
move on to what sounds like Bill Belichick's worst nightmare. His ex and his current girlfriend coming together at a holiday party and getting, and I'm not saying a holiday party because his ex, her last name is Holiday, Linda Holiday and Jordan Hudson coming face to face during a party in Nantucket. Now, we just, TMZ Sports got the the narrative on this. It was an actual document.
This is beauty queen on beauty queen smack.
Remember
it's
that
just the best.
Jordan Hudson is in the beauty pageant world. She was just in the Miss Maine competition. And Linda Holiday, Bill's ex, also knows people in the pageant world. And they ended up at the same party in Nantucket over the holidays. It's an annual thing they do called the Stroll. Well, Linda's daughters, twin daughters, were the DJs. And so she was there supporting her daughters, and she goes to this event every year. She used to go with Bill. Jordan went, I'm not sure exactly why, but she had to know that Linda Holiday was going to be there. And according to this document, Linda confronted not only Jordan, but Jordan's friend, who is Miss Massachusetts, and basically said, get out of here. You don't belong here. This is my turf.
Kind of a veiled threat, too, to one of her friends.
Yes, the Miss Massachusetts.
Melissa Sapini is Miss Massachusetts. She went to this party with Jordan. And as for why Jordan is there, Jordan just started dating Bill, or had recently begun dating Bill. So I assume it was her kind of trying to ingrain herself into Bill's life. Bill is very known around Nantucket. That's like one of his I guess, vacation spots. So that's probably why she was there. But regardless, Melissa Sapini, Miss Massachusetts, was there. And according to the incident report from the venue released kind of a report stating what they thought happened, or what they believe happened. Linda Holiday told Melissa that if you keep hanging out with Jordan, it might hurt your chances at keeping your pageant crown.
I mean, that is fantastic.
You want to talk about a mob boss move?
That is fantastic.
That is a mob boss move.
Oh my God.
Hi, this is Callie from New York, and never in my wildest dreams did I think that I would have NFL legendary coach in the same brain thought as Real Housewives of Nantucket. But to be fair, Jordan, bad form to show up. You knew better. It was worse form, though, Linda, to remove her. You're the older one. You should have just said, Okay, stay away from me. But I definitely think we're going to see a lot more coming out of this because Jordan's set. She's going to make her place known, even though it's the old wives club. They're not going to let her in. Best of all, I love the fact that we have Bill Belichick, 74 years old. You know, he was sitting home in a ripped up hoodie, planning plays, and two very beautiful women fighting over him. So you go, Bill.
Well, and also you made a point. You sort of said something in passing about
I know
Linda.
you said
Linda,
older.
you're the older one.
Don't.
That may be the problem here. I mean,
Don't say that.
well, I'm okay. I won't say it.
You didn't say it.
But
She
I
said
believe it because I'm not justifying anything. I'm just saying, I think there's something there. We're taking a break.
When we come back, the guy who testified in the Diddy trial, the male exotic dancer, he is going to be here to talk about not only his testimony and how it will potentially affect the outcome of this trial, but also his life as an author and what's happening with his book sales after his testimony. By far the most colorful, for so many reasons, testimony that we have seen in the Diddy trial so far came from a male exotic dancer who his stage name is The Punisher, and we've talked about what he said on the stand about his encounters with Cassie and Diddy over, he says, nearly 3 years.